Hey there guys, in this video I wanted to tell you about a game I've been playing lately called Final Fantasy Blackmoon Prophecy Remake. This is a fan-made game. It's not affiliated with the official Final Fantasy brand, but it's heavily inspired by Final Fantasy. It's made in RPG Maker, and best of all, the game is completely free. I'll put a link to the, I think it's on itch.io page down below in the description that you can download the game yourself and try it out. But yeah, I've been playing it lately, Final Fantasy Blackmoon Prophecy Remake, and it is really, really fun. If you're a fan of the classic Final Fantasy games, especially like 4, 5, and 6, you're gonna love this game. Completely free, tons and tons of fun. Yeah, and I'm going to be showing you some of the game in a moment. Now, I will say, I'm going to be loading my save, which is, I think, pretty close to the end of the game. So there might be some minor spoilers based on, you're going to be seeing the characters I have recruited throughout the game. You're going to be seeing the status of the world towards the end of the game. So there are going to be some small spoilers. I will do my best to avoid any major spoilers as I show you the game. But I wanted to give you the warning up front that if you want to try out the game yourself, completely free, the link's going to be in the description. Try it out. It's tons of fun. But if you don't mind some small spoilers, I'm going to go ahead and load my save, and we're going to get into it. And I'm going to show you, the game and talk about it a little bit. So let me go ahead and load my game. So as you can see, it's very similar to Final Fantasies like 4, 5, and 6. The storyline is completely original, based on the developer. UPRC is the developer's username. He's created his own storyline, but that being said, it is very heavily inspired by most of the Final Fantasy games. You'll see, some very similar themes throughout the game. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will give you an example from very, this happens in the first 20 minutes of the game. Not really a spoiler. But you're gonna see, one of your good friends is mind controlled and turns against you, kind of very similar to the theme of Final Fantasy IV. Stuff like that. There's just, a lot of callbacks to the original Final Fantasy games. And it's really fun to play through and be like, oh yeah, I recognize what that was inspired from. Some of it maybe is almost too close to what happened in other Final Fantasy games, but I still think overall it's really well done. The story is completely original too. It's a completely original story. But you can definitely see where it took inspiration from Final Fantasy games, which is a good thing. The game is very, very heavily based on Final Fantasy. The menu system is similar to Final Fantasy like 6, 4, etc. You've got gear and all that. Again, keep in mind, this is a very late game save. My stats are very high. I've got close to best in slot gear probably. Stuff like that. You can recruit lots and lots of characters. You can mix and match your party at will, including you can also remove the main character from your party if you want to. You can also move them around, stuff like that. Lots and lots of characters. Some of them you'll see familiars from other games, etc. The jobs and all that. Some of them are pretty similar to classic Final Fantasies, for example, Black Mage, White Mage, Swordsman, which is like a knight, etc. A lot of Dragoon. A lot of these are classic Final Fantasies, but there's also some unique characters as well. Bosch is a Seeker. He's like an artifact master, so to speak. He makes creations in combat. Chemist, I guess, is original Gamblers. Or Chemist is not original, but it's inspired by Final Fantasy. Stuff like that. The battle system, let me actually put my regular party back on. I like Vaughn. This is my I'll show you more about my party in a moment, but let me go ahead and jump into a battle real quick. And this is gonna be very easy. Like I said, this is oh, I got surprised. But this is a very late game party in an early game area. So it's gonna be very, very simple. But we got ambushed actually, so they're going first, which is fine. So anyway, so Vaughn is the main character of the game. This guy right here up front, you start off with him, and he's basically the main character. He's a Dragoon. He's got special moves he can do, like Dragoon, not magic, but like Dragoon skills. He can, of course, jump, which we're going to do. Laka is a thief. I like using her as well because, you know, we can steal things. Vera is a summoner, basically just a summoner. A lot of the classic Final Fantasy summons, you know, Shiva, Ramu, Odin, Golem, Diablos, Alexander, even big old Bahamut. Amy is a blue mage, but blue magic in this game is actually a little bit different. In most Final Fantasies, you need to be hit with blue magic to learn it. In this game, you learn your blue magic through through tomes, basically, books. And you get the books by stealing it. You can steal it from the enemies that use that magic. They sometimes drop the book, and also you can find them as either treasure in the world or given to you through quest. But yeah, so we can steal, we can use some blue magic, and then I summon Bahamut, who's probably going to just one-shot everything. Probably. Maybe not, we'll see. Yeah, figured. Like I said, I'm very high level in a low level area. So, there we go. There's the classics, like Chocobos. You know, I've got a black Chocobo that I've now got. You know, you get that late in the game. You've got the airship as well. You've got, you know, again, just very, very, very heavily inspired by Final Fantasies of the earlier years. You know, you can go into the inn, you can go into the weapon shops, that kind of stuff. If you've played Final Fantasy 4, 5, or 6, you'll see a lot of familiar stuff. Did I show the character? I think I did. Yeah, so about challenge in the game. So I will say, if you play the game, it's the main story is pretty easy, honestly speaking. And that carries on for most of the game. The primary main storyline is not like face roll easy, but it's relatively low challenge in my experience, I found. Towards the end of the game, the main storyline did start getting a little bit harder, but for the most part, the main storyline is fairly easy. It's designed that you can see the storyline. The challenge is in all the optional content, and there's a large amount of optional content. Lots and lots of completely optional dungeons that you can just bypass entirely if they're too hard for you, or you can go and explore them. And almost always, the optional dungeons have special loot or rewards for doing so. For example, that's where you can find a lot of your espers. Will come from optional content. Stuff like that. Some of the blue magic comes from optional content. A lot of the special equipment comes from optional content. You know, the best gear in the game, optional content. Stuff like that. That's where a lot of the challenge in the game is going to come from. There's a mark system, which is, I think, similar to Final Fantasy, 12? That had, like, the Hunter's Guild or whatever. Same thing. These are optional targets you can go out and hunt. I've killed most of them at this point, but it shows you the ones you've beaten. And the rewards, you see the rewards at the bottom. Reward, Force Armor, Bomber Turret Hood, Ember Scale. And you'll notice a lot of familiar faces as well, like, you know, the Magus Sisters, Nidhogg, Beyonder, Scarmiglione. A lot of familiar faces. I wish I could show you the sprites as well. They use the familiar sprites as well. Stuff like that. Ixion, Dark Elf, Goblin King. And then there's elite marks as well. You know, Diamond Weapon, Tritok, Shinryu. That one was pretty hard. There was Ultima Weapon as well, or Omega Weapon. He actually wasn't a mark. He was just a bonus dungeon. I went and killed him as well. Stuff like that. There's special side quests. Some of them are like collect a bunch of special items. For example, I'm currently working on a quest for a guy that wants he wants Vomammoth Fang, Adamantium Ore, and he also wants a pure Nethicite that I haven't found yet. Stuff like that. There's these weapon fragments. I'm assuming when I find more of them, I can turn them in for a special reward. I don't know. There's a guy that wants 20 of these memoir pages. They're spread throughout the world. I've found 16 of them so far. I did ask in the Discord where the other 4 are, because there's 4 I can't find yet. People are still looking for them. Once there were a few of them that I didn't find, and people told me where they were, and I went backtracked and got them. But yeah, there's a lot of there's basically a lot of bonus content. Is what I'm trying to tell you. The developer has mentioned that there's nothing permanently missable in the game that is unique. So that's good news. You can always backtrack for a unique item or quest that you might have missed. That's really awesome. Yeah, stuff like that. And I'll go ahead and show you a few of the characters, trying to avoid the really spoilery characters, if possible. I'm really trying to not show them in this. But so Vaughn is the main character of the game. He's who you start as, the Dragoon. I like him because he has some really good gear. For example, this Dragonheart. It's very late game, but when you get it, it makes him basically really, really good. Also, the spear is incredibly high damage. So he's just a really good, heavy-hitting guy. Oh, I should have mentioned also Nethicite. Nethicite is another thing that you can find, and these give you permanent stat ups when you level up. Kind of like Final Fantasy VI. So you can customize your characters. There's like, I don't know, 20 Nethicites. I've got most of my characters equipped with one so that they're all spread out throughout the party. Like, my Thief has Siren, which is giving luck and max HP on level up. My Summoner has Seraphim, which is giving magic speed and max MP. My Blue Mage has Quetzalcoatl, which is giving HP and defense, because she was a little bit squishy. Also, she's got this really, really powerful staff. Again, late game item, but it makes her magic stat extremely high, so she doesn't really need more magic from Nethicites. Stuff like that. You can kind of customize your characters as you go. But yeah, this is the party that I'm currently enjoying using. It's Vaughn the Dragoon. He's a really hard-hitting Dragoon. Basically just really, really, really good physical damage. That's all there is to it. Also, Jump is nice because Jump can, avoid really powerful attacks. Like the enemy is about to use Ultima or, I don't know, Flame Breath or whatever. He can jump and survive, basically. Laka is the Thief. Now, I gotta be honest here, I have a love-hate relationship with Laka. Stealing is incredible in this game. Basically, most of the best-in-slot gear comes from stealing off of bosses, which is both awesome and annoying at the same time, because it kind of makes it like Laka is almost required to be in the party at all times, because if you don't have her in the party, you can't steal from a boss, and you're going to miss on potentially some really, really good gear. And again, you can usually get it later in the game anyway, but you can get it much earlier with Laka in your party. The problem is, other than stealing, she's kind of terrible, I'll be honest with you. Like, she has green magic, and status effects are kind of cool and all. The problem is most bosses are immune to status effects. Like, maybe 1 or 2 might work, but for the most part, bosses are status effect immune, and she's kind of dead weight on boss fights. She steals from the enemy, and then she just like sits around and maybe uses like an ether or something on the boss or on the party. That's kind of all she does. She is dead weight, but stealing is just so good. I'm also using Vera, the Summoner, because summons are... So they were really, really strong early game. They are starting to fall off in the very, very late game. They're not quite as good as they used to be. Also, summons do have a cooldown. If you'll notice up here, like 5-turn cooldown for Golem, 5-turn cooldown for Bahamut. Ifrit's got a 2-turn cooldown. So the weaker ones are short cooldown, the stronger ones are long cooldown. So summons are really good, but I'm noticing towards the end of the game, they're not quite holding the value that some of the other characters are doing. But still, she's really good. She's very versatile. She's got like Kieran for healing and regeneration. She's got Starlet for big healing as needed. Phoenix for AoE Revive. Fenrir for AoE Haste. Golem AoE Protect. Zone Seek AoE Shell. Yeah, so lately she's becoming more of like my healer and buffer instead of a damage dealer, but you know, once per 5 turns, Bahamut does come in with a big old hit, and that's really good. But other than Bahamut, the rest of the summons are like losing their value. Amy, my blue mage, is kind of my MVP because I found this staff for 1,000 magic, and it's, I'll be honest, probably a little overpowered. That's a reward from, well, I won't spoil it, but that's a late game reward. Although, if you're really skilled and perseverant, you can get it early game if you can beat some really hard challenges that are, they're actually available pretty early in the game. And if you can handle it, you can get it kind of early. Although it's probably intended to not get it till late game. I will say that I spent like 5 hours in the area that it was available and just, you know, theory crafting and changing my team around until I finally beat the fight. And I got the staff probably earlier than it was intended, but ever since then, she's been on my party because I really like blue magic. Blue magic, yeah. So some of the standout blue magics that I like are Maelstrom is just a hard-hitting single target attack. Clean Sweep is a good AoE attack, great for clearing trash. Big Guard raises your max HP, really good temporarily. It's really good for hard boss fights. Sickle Slash is when you want to roll those dice. It's 2 really hard-hitting attacks, but they miss a lot. But if they both land, it's like her hardest-hitting attack. White Wind to heal the party. Just a really strong party member. Also, Amy has a special action in battle to cheer, which is a AoE heal and AoE mana regen for the party. So this is my current favorite party, but some other units in the party are, you can swap in if you want to, is Olston the Black Mage, you know, classic black magic, cures from an item. He's using Nirvana that gives Cura, so ignore that. But yeah, black magic. Then there is Elena, classic white mage. I find that she's a little outclassed by like just, you know, I can heal with White Wind, or I can heal with, you know, summons. I don't really need a dedicated white mage who doesn't really do a whole lot. Also, her buffs, like Regen, Protect, Reflect, they're all single target, and you can't multicast it. Another reason that, like Vera, with all her buffs are AoE. So, yeah. Elena, in my opinion, kind of needs some buffs. Maybe the developer will see this and buff her, but I feel she's not pulling her weight in the late game. Another unit is Siegfried, a swordsman. He just got hard-hitting attacks. He's pretty slow, but really high attack power. So, you know, he's good. He's really good with Genji Glove. I gave him Genji Glove to hit twice. And that, with Excalibur, you know, a late-game reward, is really strong. Really strong. We've got Darius, the Black Knight. He is, again, small spoilers. You know, you see him in it's very, very early game. But you'll kind of realize that he's going to eventually join your party, of course. But, it's, again, just a very early game spoiler. But, he's a Dark Knight. He's got some cool abilities to break stats. And I kind of used him for a while, but I found the stat breaks just weren't that important. And it uses his entire turn to not even deal damage, just break a stat. It's not really worth it, in my opinion. I don't really like him too much. Nobumasa is a ninja. He can throw things as well as use these ninja attacks. I don't know. I don't really use him either. I never use him, so I can't tell much about him. Godot is a red mage, which is just white and black magic. Again, even though he's got really good stats with these orbs are amazing. They give him really high magic stat, but just like he doesn't do that much, really. And I just don't like him that much. I don't really use him. Jasmine the Monk is pretty fun. She doesn't use weapons, so she gets an extra accessory slot, and she gets this little Juzu like necklace or something. But again, I don't really like using her because no weapon means she can't really scale as high as some of the other guys. Like, she's got 750 vigor, while my main hero has 1,792 vigor because of his crazy weapon and things like Dragonheart. So, yeah, Jasmine just doesn't scale the way I want her to. Bosch is a seeker. He builds contraptions during the battle, which are like random effects. I don't like random, so I don't really use him. Adder is kind of fun. He is like a tank. As you can see, my Adder is very, very thick. 9,999 HP. He's also got regeneration because of this very, very late game axe. He basically just stands there and doesn't die. He's got this taunting glove as well. The problem I have with him is most of the dangerous attacks are AoE, so he doesn't really do that much other than just like sitting there and sometimes absorbing a single target attack, which is just not that needed. And there's a bunch more characters, but some of the later ones are potentially spoilery. I don't want to get into it too much. You'll see during the game when you get them. But yeah, there's a little quick preview of a game I'm having a ton of fun with. The link will be in the description. It's totally free, so if you enjoy classic Final Fantasy games, check it out. It's really fun. Alright, I will see you guys later.